All right, welcome in, people. Welcome in. Let's get this party started, shall we? Okay, let's do. Oh my gosh! Whoops. Okay, let me. You gotta move the camera up a little bit. I moved the. I moved the camera and didn't pre-adjust before the stream. Sorry about that, people. How we looking? We looking good? Looking straight up, looking fair. All right, all right. Let's get into it. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome in. Let's talk about what we just witnessed because there are a couple cool things that we saw tonight. There are a couple things that I want to talk about. And maybe we might talk about it for like a second, like a mere second. Um, there's the Oscars tonight as well. And like, I think it's freaking cool that I did a stream a little bit ago. Um, I did a stream a little bit ago, and I talked about just movies in general and my thoughts on who should win, who shouldn't win, blah blah blah. One thing that I talked about a little bit was, hey, now wait a minute. Hey, now wait a minute. Where's my music at? Hold on, people. One thing I talked about was I was like, why the hell F1 F1 got nominated for everything else, but Brad Pitt never got nominated. What the hell? No, but so I think it's super cool uh, that Michael B. Jordan won the Oscars tonight. That was super cool. If you have not seen that film, one there are like a handful of movies where it's like that first time experience to be like to relive it again. Avengers Infinity War, that's probably like number one because nobody thought like the ending would be what the ending was. I'd say that one. Sinners is it's kind of one of those like you got to see in theaters to experience it. Dark Knight, um, Goodfellas, Heat. Um, I'm not on the hype train behind Interstellar, but maybe Tenant. Contrary to popular belief, I did kind of like Tenant, and then probably Matt Reeves' 2022 Batman film. To go watch that again, like for the first time in the theaters, that'd be sick. Anyways, thought I'd talk about that. Just give a little quick rant about movies, but it's like, what the hell? This is not a movie stream. This is about baseball. Yes, let's get into it. I think it's kind of funny, cool, but like funny that I'd have two nickels, which is weird. It happened twice. The defense for Team USA, not only in baseball, but in hockey as well. Because look at this. Look at this. Okay, now we will get into the controversial strike at the very end. We will talk about that. But Paul Skeens and then the closer, because they threw out Rogers there, and as you guys can see, he pitched a little bit. But Paul Skeens and then Whitlock and Miller, so the two closers and Skeens, Connor Hellebuck. These three men are the reason why like Team USA's have been able to like hold their shit together, which is so freaking. Again, you can go look, you can go fact check and joke and meme on me. I made kind of a not a whoopsie, but like I said, if with the hot bats of how well the Dominican Republic had been playing, don't be surprised if they step up and they get a homer or two off of Paul Skeens. He did give up one homer, which I was like, oh boy, because at that point in the game, because it's still so early in the game, it's like, okay, this could go either way. This could get really ugly. But like the fact that coach kept him in, he hung in there, went clutch, and that's also not to say like without like how many times did the DR leave bases stranded? Like they out hit us, which is one thing, and there were just so many phenomenal plays in the early game of this. Like the first 4 innings, super entertaining. The later half, it kind of it just kind of turned into a pitch battle at that point and got a little not boring, but you could tell like after who was it? Who was it? The bottom. It was either the bottom of the eighth, or bottom of the seventh. Not this play. This play was badass though. The one that Judge was able to get Tatis at third, which by the way, he had a sick moon ball that looked like, hey, we're going. We're about to take a bigger lead, make it 3-1, and then it got robbed at the wall. That was sick. Yeah, it must have been bottom of the seventh or bottom of the eighth, but bases were pretty loaded, and they were able to. I think Ketel Marte. It was the inning where he was the last batter. Pitcher was able to punch him out, and then they went to the bottom of the ninth, where that's when you have the controversial. Which no, I think here I look at it one of two ways. I'm glad we didn't let this game get decided by video review and ABS because, because ABS would have let him walk, and then who knows what happens after that. But then at the same time, I do like how you did talk about how no, just like there were lots of bats tonight. Because Tatis set the record with hits and RBIs or something like that with 11. But like you look here, look at all these runs. Look at all like Tatis with 1 hit, Marte with 2 with 4, Juan Soto 0 of 4. Hey Mets fans, have we ever seen an 0 for 4 night for Juan Soto? Anybody? Any takers? Any takers in the audience? And then Vladdy, where's Vladdy? Vladdy went 1 for 4, but usually they're big hitters, and at the same on the other side too. Harper, Schwarber was it took the other guys. It took Henderson and Anthony to get things on the board, and 2-1 is not the craziest win stat wise of like, oh my gosh, like we really beat these guys. It took a defensive surge there at the very end and just closing the door on their best hitters, because if you also look to where's the pitching, look at how Jax had 1, Bednar had 1, Whitlock had 1, and Miller had 1. Like we just threw all of our different pitchers at him for the remainder of the game, which I think was a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off. It did. I will also be honest and transparent though. Like I thought the Dominican Republic. Here's how I kind of saw the game going. I did think the DR was going to win this game, and the reason why I thought the DR would win this game is because, like every game before that you've watched, they get out to an early lead, and something like how it was with their pitching. Because who was it? There was one pitcher in between. I can't remember who it was. It was the second pitcher, but the one who gave up. My bad. Gave up. It might have been Soto. Yep. Because this one means left one on, right? Yeah, it was him. Probably him. They swapped the pitcher, and then the next guy who came up homered, which was was it Henderson? No. Who was the one? Because our homers went back to back. It was Anthony, where right after his home run, 2 or 3 pitches later, Albert Pujols was like, "Okay, get him out," and then he left halfway through the game. Because the other thing too, for the rest of their pitchers too, shut us down, and Team USA couldn't do anything. And then the great defensive play, which it doesn't show. I don't think they'll have it, but the home run rob, that was, at the wall that Judge sent deep. Yeah, look at that. Since the fifth inning, from the fifth inning on, as much as we stopped them, they stopped us because we didn't do anything. We did not do anything too crazy. All right. Any other? Is it going to give any videos? Let me see if we got any other videos. Home run. Jackson Solo. Yep, Julio Rodriguez. Let's see if it's here, if I can show it. Of course there's an ad. Which after this shows, I'm gonna talk a little bit about Miller too. Like this is gone. You understand? This thing's gone. And they just times it perfectly. Nope. Give me that. Oh, it was so sick. And we're at the top of the fifth as well, where there's still time for the Dominican Republic team to come back, make some moves, get people loaded on. It must have been it wasn't this throwout, because this was in the third. Because again, the first 4 innings of this game, cinema, pure cinema. It was like the 7th or the 8th inning when Ketel Marte got punched out. Where is... Oh, here we go. Here, the controversial strike call. Move that. It's like that old, oh, don't look at the ad. Pretend it's not even there. All right, here we go. Okay, now. Bad call. Because the catcher did frame the hell out of it. But, okay, if you watch this last at bat, there were 3 pitches. Okay, first things first, too. So you have a man on third. He should not be there. But the reason why he is there is because Will Smith had the yips and let one advance as well. And there were a handful of wild pitches, and he also walked a dude. Like, watching this final out was very nerve-wracking, because he just started to get you could tell that he was shaking, because there were some wild bad pitches that even got him in this mess, because somebody got thrown out at first, which I think is what gave the second out. But the runner who got to third, like him going, it was just like there were some wild freaking pitches. It was a jam. It's below the knees. It is below the knees. I would not. I don't know. That's such a hard. It is a hard call because it is below the knees. He is leaning into it, which he had a freaking tough day too, because he got plucked by Paul Skeens as well too. He got hit earlier in the game, but yeah. But that might, truthfully though, that could turn around and bite us in the ass though, when we have to go play Venezuela or Italy again, and those breaks don't come, and it's like, well, whoops. Because I look at because the semifinal between Venezuela tomorrow and Italy. I'm still leaning towards the Italians. I had, out of this, when you look at this bracket right here, this fun matchup, this is how I had it. I had Team USA here, and then I had the DR here, and then I had Italy, and then I had Japan, and then I had Japan beating Italy, because the thing that the vibe that I've kind of gotten out of Italy, the Dominican Republic, and Japan is kind of, and now I kind of can see it with Venezuela because I'll admit I didn't watch too many of the Venezuela games in the pool play, but it's one thing to like before we get into it, like when we do our predictions and stuff, to be like, yeah, this team looks really good. They look good on paper. They look like they should win it. But then you actually start to watch them play, and it's like, holy shit, these guys are really like that 8-0. Now there are, because I've seen the other side of it too, where there are people who are like, well, think about how many people Italy was playing with and the starters that Team USA had that they sat, which I get that. I don't think though Bryce Harper, if that's one of the names, for example, that was benched. I don't think Bryce Harper has a huge impact to change the difference between an 8-0 lead. Okay, maybe he shoots a double shot home run, it's 2-8. Or maybe a 3-run homer. Or him and Schwarber go back to back and it's like 5-8 or something. But at one point in that game, it was 8-0. Like, Team Italy was just, it was freaking crazy. But a good wake-up call, though, because now they're in the final. But where I was sitting is I was very, very iffy on Team USA. But I was kind of leaning towards Dominican Republic versus Italy in the final. And then who wins out of that? Probably just with the hot bat, because you got to ride with the hot hand at the time. Probably would have leaned towards the Dominican Republic. But that is not looking like a good prediction now. That prediction's actually looking very bad. Very, very bad. But anyways, I guess that's my thoughts. I know this was kind of a short, quick stream, but we're going to end the stream here. If you guys want to tune back in or something, I might do a gaming stream a little bit later tonight. Then the weekend, right? Hope you guys are doing good. USA, they get it done. But it took a freaking whole team effort because, man, I think the other impressive thing, too, is I kind of fell into this hype as well, is the DR averaged 10 runs a game, and the fact that we kept them to 1. Connor Hellebuyck goaltending right there. Like, that is the type of... Which, will it be forgotten if Team USA shows up in the final and they get blown out by Team Italy again? Maybe. Would it be kind of like a St. John's, UConn type of revenge where, hey, you know, UConn blows St. John's out by 30 points, and then when they meet up again in the Big East final, St. John's has the last laugh. They end up winning. Maybe that could happen. Maybe that's kind of what we're leaning towards and what might happen. Because I don't like saying it, but there's parts of me when, kind of like with Florida and Vanderbilt, where it's like, oh, did you catch Florida on a bad day? There's parts of me that think, did we catch the Dominican Republic on a bad day? And I said it in a stream where we kind of can't judge the Dominican Republic going and beating up somebody at the bottom of their pool play because, like, they are not professional MLB players. These aren't the top tier pitchers. You know, they're not the Paul Skeens, which people were talking about that coming into it. But then again, like, these guys have gone against Skeens in the MLB, I would think, you know, and they'd have their own separate stat line with that. But it is very different to judge, wow, Team USA, they beat up on Latvia's hockey team, or they beat up on Germany's hockey team, when it's like, well, they should, because Team USA has freaking 34 players that are in the league versus Germany, who has 3. So it's like, yeah, it should be that way. But I'm interested if we just caught Dominican Republic on a bad night. Same way with Japan, because I don't know. I don't think Shohei had a good night the other night. Let me double check. Which it sounds like I'm totally discrediting Venezuela, which I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to. Just Japan had a hold on this game until that home run by Abreu that made it 7-5. Where was... Yeah. Well, actually, no. If more than anything, Japan didn't hold on to the lead. Look at this, 2-5. I didn't come in till way later. Yeah, I was kind of watching it at a glance. I did see the Acuna home run. I saw the Ohtani home run, but then this whole section here, I didn't come in till after the Abreu home run. Because I saw like the little notifications that you get on your phone where it's like, what the hell just happened? Because, I mean, it's 2-5. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, game's over. But no, all right. Anyways, enough of me yapping, guys. Thank y'all for being here, hanging out. We'll just see. I think we got a game tomorrow. Yes. Italy and Venezuela tomorrow. I think. Could this be a pitching clinic? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a low-scoring game too. It might. Because again, this DR USA game could have looked like a high-scoring game too, but then it turned into well, we got a defensive affair here. So maybe tomorrow's game is also a defensive affair. I don't know. But we're going to end the stream here, though. I thank you guys for hanging out with me. And I will catch you guys in another stream. Peace out.